こんにちは。アルファアドバイザーズの坂下です。今日はシンガポールの MBA から、SMU、シンガポールマネジメントユニバーシティのアドミッションが来てくれました。シンガポールの MBA は最近アルファでもとても人気があって、そのまま現地で就職したり、中には日本に帰ってきて外資系に就職する方もいるんですが、シンガポールに行って比較的現地でそのまま残って稼ぎたいとか、あとはお子様がいる方は、シンガポールってやはり教育環境がすごく素晴らしい、インターナショナルスクールとか、お子様の教育に対して、非常に国際的な教育ができるということで、ご家族で行って、お子様もシンガポールに MBA で学んでいる間もお子さん学校に行って、卒業後はシンガポールで就職したいという方もたくさん来ています。アルファアドバイザーズでは、今まで15年間、ずっと MBA とかキャリアのサポートをしてきまして、特にアルファの場合は、MBA は一つのキャリアアップの手段としてサポートしているので、その後の就職もシンガポール現地で実際に就職した方なんかもたくさんいたりします。あと、お子様の教育も今全部アルファでインターナショナルスクールとか、その後の海外大学とかもサポートして、もう家族ぐるみでサポートさせていただいている方もいるんですが、今日は社会人、あとは大学生で、そのまま日本の大学を、あるいは海外の大学を卒業して、海外の大学院に行くという方ですね。シンガポールマネジメントユニバーシティ、SMU の場合は MIM っていうマネジメント、MBA に近いイメージでいただくといいと思うんですが、マネジメント系のプログラムとか、あとはマスター・オブ・ファイナンス、いわゆるファイナンスのいろんな理論とか手法を学ぶファイナンス、あとはクオンティタティブ、もうどちらかというと、ファイナンスかけるテクノロジーという感じで、そのままテクノロジーと金融、クオンツに近いようなことを学んで、ヘッジファンドに入るとか、そういうね、非常に素晴らしいプログラムがたくさんある学校です。で、シンガポールっていうと、SMU もしかして初めて聞くよっていう方もいるかもしれないんですけれども、シンガポールの中では非常に中心街にあって、特に金融のファイナンシャルディストリクトの近くにあるんですね。ですので、もう日本でいう大手町みたいなところにあって、もう駅も直結で、私たちも行かせていただいて、もう学校中、アドミッションの方に案内していただいたんですけれど、もう本当に駅直結、もう丸の内みたいな感じのすごく綺麗な場所にあって、図書館とかも施設もものすごく綺麗ですし、でかつその金融のファイナンシャルディストリクトが近いので、そのまま、学校に行きながらインターンをしたりとか、あとはフルタイムのインターンも組み込まれている。これすごくいいと思うんですけど、今日もね、ここお話しいただきますけれども、フルタイムのインターンが在学中にできるので、自分の適性とかもそこで見られますし、そのまま就活につながる方もいると。実はね、これシンガポール就職とか狙う人にはかなりおすすめのプログラムです。で、奨学金もアルファから過去に全額奨学金で行った方がいたりとか、最近でも一部奨学金をもらって行ってる方もいる、そういうプログラムです。入学時期はこれから2024年の8月、今年の夏の入学もまだ5月まで間に合うので、もうぜひ、特に大学生で、ちょっとあんまり内定先、あんまり自信ないなとか、一旦海外就職してから、がっつりね、実力を上げて、もう一回就活したいなっていう方とか、あと社会人の方で、今年、もうなるべく早くキャリアステップアップしたいという方、結局これを逃すと、シンガポールマネジメントユニバーシティ SM の場合は、2025年の1月の入学も可能なので、これすごくいいですよね。大体の多くの学校は、1年、秋入学しかない学校も多いので、今年のタイミングを逃すと、もう2025年、もう1年以上ですよね。1年半、今と同じ状態になってしまうんですけど、SMU の場合は、25年の1月入学もできますので、少しテストとかもじっくり準備したいなっていう方は、25年の1月、もうできるだけ早く準備していっちゃいたいなっていう方は、今年の夏からもいけます。で、今年の夏は、急に思う方もいるかもしれませんけれども、アルファではもう普通の準備期間、今3月なので、少し急ぎ目にエッセイとかレジュメとかをやって、アルファでね、準備していただくと、こうアドミッションの方とも日々情報交換していて、この人はね、こういう候補者さんですよ、こういうの思いがあって、シンガポールで学びたいんですよって方で、私たちも、推薦というかね、こう、後押しをしているので、合格確率ももう全然違ってきますし、奨学金とかもね、チャンスがあるかもしれないので、ぜひご興味がある方は、まずはご相談いただければと思います。 でシンガポールは他にもいくつか学校がありますので、シンガポールどこがいいですかねとか、学校選びのご相談もぜひいつでもしていただければと思います。で、今回のこの SMU なんですけど、来週の MBA フェア、これ QS さんという MBA のランキングとかを出している団体があるんですけど、QS さんの MBA フェアに SMU のアドミッションも来ます。ですので、直接アドミッションとお話もできますし、他にも UC バークレーとか NUS、あとハルトとか、欧米アジアからいろいろな学校が来ます。アルファも QS さんにご招待いただいて、今回に来ますので、直接私たちともキャリアとか MBA のこと聞いていただけますし、参加者の方はアルファのところから登録していただいたら、今回ね、アルファちょっと初めて参加させていただくっていうことで、アルファ代表の入住さんとキャリア相談ができると。これ半額、普段これ個別指導生の方にしかやってないんですけど、半額でできるようになってますので、ぜひ皆さん、ふるって参加いただければと思います。これ、日本にいながら MBA の雰囲気を味わったりとか、アドミッションの方にアピールするチャンスにもなります。終わった後ね、今かなりちょっとアルファからも人数が集まっていて、皆さんで何かギャザリングをできたらいいかなと思っていますので、ぜひご都合がつく方は、概要欄とコメント欄にリンクを置いておきますので、そちらからご登録の上、参加いただければと思います。はい。ということで、まずは、ご興味がある方、SMU 行ってみたいなとか、あとはもうシンガポール行きたいとか、あるいはもうシンガポールとかアメリカとかどこの国がいいかなとか、それからもうそもそもキャリア、MBA とか取った方がいいんですかねとか、あるいは駐在している方とかも、そのままパートタイムで SMU とか、シンガポールの MBA 行っている方もいるので、そういう方もぜひご相談いただければと思います。はい。ということで、今日はアドミッションの方に前半プログラムの説明をしていただいて、SMU は MBA と、あと、大学生も直接行けるマスター MIM とか、あとはファイナンスのマスターもありますし、もっとさらに経験が豊富な方が行くエグゼクティブ MBA もあるので、一通り説明いただきたいと思います。セッションは英語なんですけど、ご質問とかコメントがあれば、どんなことでもYouTube のコメント欄に入れていただければ、後でアドミッションの方に聞きますので、コメントは日本語でも大丈夫ですので、どんどんコメント、質問いただければと思います。では、アドミッションの方に渡したいと思います。Chris and Anis, thank you for your time today. Could you start your presentation?
All right, thanks, Emmy. So my name is Eunice, and I will be sharing with you a little bit more about the programs we have here in the Lee Kong Chian School of Business in SMU. I will just share my screen so that we can follow along together. Okay, thank you so much for joining us today. So first and foremost, Singapore Management University is one of the universities in Singapore. And under the Singapore Management University, we have a few different schools, the Lee Kong Chian School of Business being one of them. So in SMU, we were established in the year 2000 in partnership with the Wharton School or the University of Pennsylvania. The Lee Kong Chian School of Business is the flagship school of SMU. This means that out of all the other schools in SMU, the Lee Kong Chian School of Business has the highest enrollment. We are also the largest business school in Singapore. So our enrollment itself is also largest around compared to other universities in Singapore. We have had sterling employment records since 2004, and we do have one of the biggest business networks and connections in Singapore itself. If you know, if you have been to Singapore before, or if you know about Singapore, we are a city campus located in the heart of the central business district, which helps a lot when it comes to networking events or if you are looking for opportunities within the CBD itself. So just to share a little bit more about the Lee Kong Chian School of Business, we have achieved the Triple Crown accreditation. Now, this Triple Crown is awarded to the top 1% of business schools in the world. This means that we have 3 prongs of the Triple Crown. First, we have the AACSV accreditation, the Association of Ambas, as well as EQUIS, which is the European Accreditation Board. We are also ranked in QS World Universities, UT Dallas, as well as Financial Times. So every year, this ranking gets updated based on the curriculum as well as other factors as well. So what's so special about SMU and the Lee Kong Chian School of Business? So here are some of the classroom experiences that you can expect to enjoy. First and foremost, we have a lot of great interaction in the classrooms. Our teaching pedagogy focuses and emphasizes a lot on interaction and peer-to-peer learning in class. So this helps with the transfer of knowledge between you and your classmates, especially when your classmates come from a very diverse background. Next, we have a very Asian perspective and a global curriculum. We have a lot of leading research and relevant Asia-based case studies. Later, I'll share with you a little bit more as well. We have excellent faculty and mentors. Some of them are not just teaching, but they are also practitioners in the industry. So you can expect your classes to be filled with very up-to-date case studies. We do a lot of action-based learning. This is the emphasis on practical outcomes through action-based or applied-based learning. And finally, soft skills. Soft skills are very important when it comes to business. Whether you are currently doing internships or you are looking to go out to work in the future, or you're currently leading a team even, soft skills such as communication, leadership, and teamwork are very crucial skills to have. So earlier on, I mentioned a little bit about action-based learning. So our Lee Kong Chian School of Business programs are designed to engage with the business community through contextualized classroom learning and provide a transformative education. So this comes in the form of internships, capstone projects, management study projects, strategic initiative projects, as well as new venture creation projects. Now, this varies from program to program, so it depends on which program you take, and you might not necessarily have all of these, but you will definitely have at least one opportunity to go through action-based learning here in SMU. Next, earlier on, I mentioned about case studies. So if you're looking to grow your business in the Asian region or in Singapore, choosing an Asian business school can be quite important because that's where you want to grow your network and learn a little bit more about Asian business practices. So in SMU, here are some of the companies that we have done our personal case study reports and research on that have been published. So we are not only, or rather our faculty are not only teaching or studying, they're also writing research papers, they're writing case studies. And this goes to show that they are very updated on what's going on in the current business landscape. In terms of global exposure, this is something that many students look out for as well. We are looking to globalize Asian businesses and Asianize global businesses. So I'll say that a little bit slower. We're looking to globalize Asian businesses and Asianize global businesses. So this comes in the form of overseas exchange with our partner universities. We have overseas immersion programs, business study missions, as well as overseas competitions. Now, once again, you will not necessarily see all of these in the program that you take, but definitely at least one. So the Lee Kong Chian School of Business, we have several programs under our care. We have the Executive MBA, Master of Science in Management, and these three programs are what I'll be sharing with you today. Some other programs, if you are interested in, feel free to just reach out to us after this webinar as well. We have a Master of Science in Entrepreneurship and Innovation, Master of Science in Wealth Management, Master of Science in Applied Finance, Master of Science in Quantitative Finance, as well as a Global Master of Finance. This is a dual degree. So just for today, I'll be sharing on these three programs. The Master of Science in Management, the Master of Business Administration, as well as Executive Master of Business Administration, or what we call the EMBA. Along the way, if you have any questions, feel free to type it out and then we'll address it later. Now, first and foremost, these are our three management masters, which target different age groups and different groups of people with different working experience. So first and foremost, our Master of Science in Management, we are targeting students with 0 to 2 years of working experience. So let's say you have recently graduated or you have been working for maybe 1.5 years or maybe 2 years already, the MIM would be a good choice for you. Now this program, we have 2 intakes a year, one in January and one in August, and it is both 18 months long. This is a full-time program. In terms of projects or specializations, we have an internship or a consulting practicum. You can go for overseas exchange or business study mission. In terms of specialization, you can choose to specialize in finance, marketing, or operations. Sustainability has been taken out for now because SMU also now has a Master of Sustainability with another school outside of Lee Kong Chian School of Business. In terms of other features that we have, we do provide valuable insights about what's going on in Asia right now, and it helps you to form a solid foundation as you step into the workforce. Next, I will be sharing with you about the MBA. Now, the MBA is more for mid-career professionals. If you have more than 2 years of working experience and hovering about around middle management, now the MBA will be perfect for you. We are looking for students who are looking to gain cross-functional skill sets and develop into a versatile and dynamic business leader. Now, the MBA is going to share with you a lot more about functional leadership, how to move from a junior manager to a middle management, and middle management to senior management. Later on, if you're already a senior leader, maybe the executive MBA is for you. So the MBA, we have 2 intakes a year. We have full-time and part-time. But for foreign students, typically, you are looking at full-time programs. So August and January as well, full-time. It can take you about 10 to 15 months to complete, depending on how you plan your electives. There is an option for overseas immersion program. There's a compulsory 10-week internship for full-time students. And if you don't take the 10-week internship, and if you're an aspiring entrepreneur, you can opt for the new venture creation project instead. The management study project is for our part-time students. And if you are still longing to go for additional overseas exchanges, you can opt for the overseas exchange, whether it's a 1-week exchange or a term exchange. Now, the MBA is designed to be a general management program. So it gives you some knowledge in about a little bit of everything in business, strategy, operations, marketing, finance. But we do notice that recently there are some employers who are looking for generalists who are also specialists where they have a niche in their studies. So we do allow specializations in the MBA itself. Now, this is totally optional, but you can specialize if you wish. So here are some of the specializations. You can choose to specialize in communications, entrepreneurship, finance, or human capital. Human capital, in some areas, we call it human resources. So in the MBA, we have a huge focus on digital economy, and this includes pre-study modules as well as core modules on leading digital transformation, as well as data analytics, as well as some other modules in your electives that you can choose from that focus on the digital economy. One of the plus points of SMU's MBA is that when you are an alumni of the SMU MBA, means you have already graduated. You can sign up for what we call the Alumni Lifelong Learning Initiative. This is where you can sign up for a free class per year for the rest of your life, adding further value to your MBA degree. That means that if, let's say, this year you're studying the MBA and you're focused a little bit more on finance, but next year when you have graduated, you realize that, you need some extra help or extra knowledge in communications, feel free to come back and sign up for an elective in communications. All right, I'll move on to the executive MBA. Like I mentioned earlier, executive MBA, we're mostly looking at senior management, senior leaders, CEOs, C-level, C-1, -2, with over 10 years of corporate working experience and about 4 to 5 years of management experience already. So the average number of years of working experience we see in the executive MBA is actually 17 years. So if you fall within this range, maybe the executive MBA might be a good choice for you. Now, given that, you're senior management, it might be a little bit difficult for you to take time off for a full-time program. So we have designed the eMBA to be modular in nature. So there's only one intake a year, and it stretches over 12 calendar months, but we only see you 8 times in the entire 12 months. Later on, I'll share with you a little bit more about the eMBA calendar. So the eMBA incorporates overseas segments in New York University, SDA Bocconi in Milan, as well as Shanghai Jiao Tong University, apart from Singapore, of course. So through the eMBA, you will have opportunities to go for overseas exchange with ISADE in Spain, as well as Sasin Business School in Thailand. There are also some other online electives conducted if you're interested to sign up for them as well. Now, your action-based learning comes in a form of strategic initiative projects. This is where you implement a theory application to solve real-world problems. It's kind of like doing an internship or a capstone project, but this is at high levels. That means your solution has to be something that's strategic in nature. Now, we are featuring the eMBA. We're looking at senior industry leaders, and they will come and they will be invited to speak in your class at least once in each segment. So this comes in the form of CEOs, other business leaders who are leading in their current field. So for example, recently we had the CEO of Standard Chartered come to share in one of our EMBA classes as well. So this is just an overview of the differences between the MIM, the MBA, and the EMBA. I'll go a little bit more into detail of the MIM. So once again, if you are a fresh graduate and you have 0 to 2 years of working experience, now's the time for you to listen up. All right, so once again, we have 2 intakes per year, the August intake as well as the January intake. It stretches over 18 months. So let's say in the first 3 terms, you'll be taking 8 core modules, a university core, and an open elective. Open elective is when you can choose a module from another school or another program and use it as part of your credit units. And then this will be followed by an internship or a consulting project. So for those of you who are looking to work outside in maybe an MNC, for example, an internship might be quite useful for you to understand what it takes to be part of that role. If you're looking to go into consulting, working on a consulting project can help to build your portfolio as well. So it truly depends on what you're looking for when you come into the MIM. In July, you'll be working on the university core and then followed by track electives. And if you want, you can specialize in either of the 3. And finally, in November, December, you will be heading overseas for your overseas exposure, your overseas exchange program in the form of a business study mission. So the business study mission is where students are provided with an opportunity to study a specific country's developing relationship with Singapore. This means that first, you do the first part of your business study mission in Singapore, you study about the relationship, you study about the trends, the business practices, and then you go over to the other country to experience it for yourself. So if, for example, you study about K-pop in Singapore, you learn a little bit more about what they're doing, how it's developing. And then you move over to South Korea for about a week, and then you experience it for yourself. Other overseas exchanges also include exchanges with our partner universities, including LBS, HKUST, as well as IE Business School, and so on and so forth. Now, for the MBA, once again, if you have more than 2 years of working experience, you're a junior manager or a middle management right now, this might be the program for you. So we do have 2 intakes a year. We'll just look at the top half of the screen where we're talking about full-time programs, January intake as well as August intake. So we'll start off with some pre-study modules where you will find the titles over here. Some of them come in finance, quantitative methods, mathematics for management, as well as financial accounting. Now, these pre-study modules set a foundation for what you'll be studying in your core modules. Core modules do include some technical topics such as corporate finance and financial accounting. So it is important for you to lay a good foundation first. Now, once you come in, your first 2 terms will have 8 core modules. That's 4 modules per term. So classes are held from Monday to Thursday, either in the morning or the afternoon. And then Fridays are reserved for career development or leadership purposes. So our career services team will come and speak with you or organize some workshops that you can attend as well. After you're done with your core modules, you move on to your 10 elective modules, and this is where you can choose your specialization as well. So if you want to finish your MBA within 10 months, you will need to plan your electives within the first 2 terms of elective periods. If you wish to take a little bit longer, you can complete it within 12 months or 15 months. That's up to you. Typically, a lot of full-time MBA students, they complete their MBA within 12 months. This is a comfortable time for them. So you'll find that where does my internship come in, right? Where does the action-based learning come in? So classes for electives are held on Monday to Thursday night, 7 p.m. to 10:45, or on Saturday. This means that your internship is actually overlapped with your electives. So you'll be going for your internship in the daytime, and you'll come for your elective modules at night. So you'll basically be functioning like a part-time student then. So like I mentioned earlier, you can take either the internship or the new venture creation project. So new venture creation projects are meant for those who are more, who have an entrepreneurship streak. If you're looking to start off your own business or you have a business idea that you want to grow, you can take a look at pursuing the new venture creation project instead, where you'll get access to our SMU incubator And our faculty members and business advisors will be able to help you on analyzing and going through your business model and advising you accordingly on how best to move to the next step. Now, full-time students also have a compulsory overseas immersion program. This is the OIP. The OIP is held in one of the ASEAN countries and our partner universities, and we will invite business leaders to come and share about what that country is currently going through, what the business trends are, what they used to see in their students and in the market, and what they are seeing now, as well as what they think they'll see in the future. So just to give you an example, last year our students went to Jakarta, Indonesia for about a week during one of the term breaks. So they went over to Jakarta for a week, and then they did a mini project together, as well as spoke to some alumni, network with some business leaders, and they came back with a lot of knowledge all about Indonesia and nothing but Indonesia. So this year, our students, there are plans to go to Bangkok in Thailand. So that's where it will get a little bit more interesting, because Thailand, as we know, is full of family businesses, and it's going to be quite interesting because the market is changing as well. So we take you outside of the Singaporean market and we fully immerse you somewhere else. This is the global exposure, and we do feel that it's important for you to know things outside of Singapore, not just within Singapore itself. So likewise, for the August intake, if you are looking to apply soon, the August intake is where you'll come in. So for example, your pre-study modules will start sometime in May, and then you'll start your core modules from August to December, and then next year you'll start your internship in January all the way until maybe July. So you could be done with your MBA by July next year. That's really fast, isn't it? All right, earlier on I mentioned some specializations that you can choose from. So out of the 10 electives that you have to take, 5 of them, if you choose to specialize, 5 of them have to come from one specialization track. So if let's say you want to specialize in communications, out of the 10 electives, you have to choose 5 out of these modules. The remaining 5 should be chosen from other parts of businesses, whether it's entrepreneurship, human capital, finance, or modules outside of these categories. The reason being the MBA is designed to be a general management program. It's not meant to be a specialized master's. So if you're looking to specialize in communications, or rather you are looking to do a master's in communications, perhaps the MBA is not for you, and that's okay. But if you're looking to be a generalist, you want to know a little bit about everything, other parts of the business, but know a little bit deeper about communications. That's where the MBA with a specialization in communications might be for you. So earlier on, I talked about compulsory internship as well as a new venture creation project. The internship is a minimum of 10 weeks, but we do see many students who are extending their internship all the way to 6 months so that they can overlap with their electives. In a way, it kind of gives them a stipend as well to offset their tuition fees, and also a chance to convert to a full-time role upon graduation. Some of the overseas exchanges that you will experience: overseas immersion program I mentioned earlier. Now, overseas exchanges, we have 2 different types. We have a 1-week overseas exchange, which could replace 1 elective module. So earlier on, I said there are 10 electives. If let's say you specialize, you choose to specialize, 5 of them must come from a specialization basket. And if you go for a 1-week overseas exchange at one of our partner universities, you do a module over there with the class. You can also count that as 1 credit unit. So instead of 10 electives, you just have to do 9 more. So that does make your MBA load a little bit lighter. We have been sending our students to IE Business School in Spain to study either of 2 modules. They can choose to study strategy, or they can choose to study luxury goods management. So this is just a 1-week exchange program. And if you are looking to do so, it will be during the term break as well. All right, I'll move on to the executive MBA now. Once again, this is for senior managers, those who are C-suite, C-1, -2. You're looking to lead your company or your team in a very strategic manner. The EMBA is going to focus on strategic leadership and not so much of functional leadership like the MBA would. So first and foremost, there are 8 different segments. 5 segments are in Singapore and 3 segments are overseas. So this is stretched over 12 calendar months. But if you notice, we only see you for about 7 days or 6 days in each segment. Each segment is a full 1 week, 8:30 to 5:30 class. So you can expect 6 or 7 days of full days in class, seeing your lecturers and your classmates every single day, and then you don't see them again until the next segment. So let's say you come in for this year's August intake, your orientation will start on the 3rd of August, and then you will go on 7 days of classes, studying on leading in a global environment, leading a business transformation, as well as sustainability and an ethics workshop. And then you don't see your classmates after the 10th of August, and the next time you see them will be in September, and so on and so forth. And once we reach the 5th segment, we will see you in Europe, in SDA Bocconi for our first overseas segment, and then followed by NYU in April, and then China, Shanghai Jiaotong from June onwards. And then by next year, August, you'll be done as well. So throughout your entire Mba, there is what we call the Strategic Initiative Project. So if you see here, there's SIP briefing, there's SIP consultations, and then there's a final SIP final presentation as well. So this is your action-based learning, where you have to take a real-life situation and apply what you have learned in your Mba in a strategic sense into the problem itself. So there are executive leadership coaching as well, and we do have industry leaders engagement series that we organize in each segment. So that's something to look forward to as well. Moving on to admissions requirements. The admissions requirements for the MIM, the MBA, and the Mba vary slightly. But in general, we do need a bachelor's degree. When you submit your application, you will also need to upload your resume, 2 personal statements. You have to give us 2 recommendation professionals. That means 2 referees who can share a little bit more with us about your professional work and your work ethic, your strengths and weaknesses and such. So you just need to give us their contact details and we will contact them for you. And once you submit your application, they will receive an email from us. We also will require a GMAT, GRE, or you can take our SMU admissions test. So this is admissions test score, which is compulsory for all applicants. Now, if your undergraduate studies was not conducted in English, you will need to submit a TOEFL or an IELTS score. But if your undergraduate studies was conducted in English, you do not need to submit this score. So just to give you an idea a little bit more about the admissions test, I'm sure some of you are familiar with the GMAT or the GRE. These are international-based tests. If you're not looking to take the GMAT or the GRE, you can take what we call the SMU admissions test. This is an in-house test that is designed to be very much more streamlined than the GMAT and GRE. It is slightly cheaper and it takes much less time. So you can complete the entire test of 3 sections within about an hour. Typically, many people complete it within about 45 minutes. So there are 3 segments that are included in this test. There is verbal reasoning, where you will see a case study in the form of passages, and then you have to understand the passages and answer a few questions in multiple choice questions. Next is the numerical reasoning, where you'll be presented with some data, a case study, but in the form of data, and then you have to do some simple calculation and then answer some multiple choice questions as well. Last but not least, there is an inductive reasoning portion where you'll be given a series of diagrams and you will have to find the next logical pattern in the sequence. So all these 3 segments can be completed within 45 minutes to an hour. Now, what's the application process like? Depending on when you apply, it could take you as quickly as 2.5 weeks to about 3 to 3.5 weeks to complete your applications from the time that you submit your application online to the time that you receive your application outcome. So first, you submit your application. Our team will go through an application review. We'll look through your test scores, your documents. If there's anything that's outstanding, we will ask you to send it to us. And then once this is complete, we will shortlist you for an admissions interview. Now, this is conducted by one of our admissions committee managers, and they will, don't worry, it's just going to be more of a casual chat, trying to figure out whether you are truly suitable for the program and whether your career aspirations are more or less aligned with what the program has to offer. And last but not least, you will get your admissions decision within about a week or 2. All right, now we talk about some finances. First and foremost, there is an application fee of 100 Singapore dollars. But for all of you who are watching this webinar or this live stream, you can just write into us and then we will check whether you have attended this session, and you can waive off this application fee for all the attendees. If you're looking to do the SMU admissions test, it is $125 per attempt. And if you eventually get accepted into the program, there is going to be a registration fee on top of a deposit fee to accept your seat in the program. For international students, that would be 500 Singapore dollars. If you're looking to enroll for the MIM in August 2024, the current tuition fee is $54,500 inclusive of GST, and a $5,000 deposit is required upon acceptance. If you're looking at enrolling into the MBA, the current tuition fee is 76,300 Singapore dollars with an advance fee of 7,000 Singapore dollars to accept your seat. Last but not least, if you're looking to enroll in the MBA, the current tuition fee is 119,900 Singapore dollars with a deposit of 10,000 Singapore dollars to accept your seat in the program. So we talk about finances and now we talk about scholarships, because I understand that, not everybody has the finances to put them through a full master's degree. So if you are looking at applying for scholarships, you can do so after you have received a seat in your respective program. For the first two scholarships, academic excellence and global awareness, you do not need to apply for them, as we will review your profile, and if you are suitable, we will automatically shortlist you for these scholarships. So these scholarships cover up to 30% of the tuition fee. You can apply for other scholarships such as the Leadership Scholarship, Impact on Asia, Community Impact, and for the women out there, you can apply for Women in Business. So there is an essay question for each scholarship category, and if you want to apply for these scholarships, you do have to write one scholarship essay to support your application. Some other scholarships that are available as well are the APEC Scholarship, the ASEAN Scholarship, as well as the Maple Tree Real Estate Postgraduate Scholarship if you're looking at one of our finance programs. Now you can stack one scholarship with one discount. So if, let's say, you get the Global Awareness Scholarship, you can stack it with a referral discount. So if you are an SMU alumni by any chance, you will get $5,000 off your tuition fee depending on which program you are taking. You can, if a referee who graduated from SMU writes a referral for you as well, depending on which program you're registering for, you can also get some sort of a discount off the tuition fee. For certain programs as well, sometimes there's a corporate partnership discount, and this is when your company is sponsoring you into the program, and if they have sponsored someone else before, you can get a discount, or if they're sponsoring 2 students in this current intake, you can also get a discount. So once again, you can stack one scholarship with one discount. And for scholarships, you can apply for more than one, but you'll only be awarded one. Okay, so this is one of my last few slides. If you are interested to apply for any of the above programs, the MIM, the MBA, or the EMBA, feel free to write to us at these emails. Or if you'd like me to share with you a little bit more in detail about whether your resume or your profile fits into either of these programs, feel free to drop me an email with your resume as well as your career aspirations at euniceWongRM@smu.edu.sg, and I'll get back to you. Okay, Emmy, I am done with my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions from you if you have any.
Yeah, thank you for a very comprehensive presentation. Yeah, we have some questions from audience, and let me go back to the slides. I want to add some explanation in Japanese for some pages. So
Sure.
could you go back to the slide which says about the comparison for each program, the program and the duration and some special features for the program.
Okay. Is it this one?
Yeah, right. Thank
Okay.
you. はい、ということで、一通りご説明いただいたんですけれども、今日はここにある、MIM、MBA、EMBA を説明いただいたので、一応少しだけ私たちも、SME に入っている方もいますし、説明、補足させていただきながらいきたいと思います。 で、皆さんご質問とかも入れていただいている方もいるんですが、聞きたいことがあれば、どんどん入れていただければと思います。で、一番左、今日この3つをお話しいただいて、ここまで詳しくご説明いただいたので、もう英語で理解されている方もいるかもしれないんですけれども、一番左が MIM ですね。で主にここに一番上のクライテリアっていうところが、大体どんな人が対象ですよっていうことが書いてますので、0から2年のワーキングエクスペリエンスなので、大学生の方、アルファからだと大学生の方も結構行っていますし、あとは若手社会人の方なんかも行かれていますね。で、内容としては MBA に割と近いかなと思います。マスターインマネジメントで。SMU 以外にも最近大学生の方でそのまま行く方がとても多いプログラムですね。で、これも1月と8月の入学時期があって、これ18ヶ月で終わりますので、すごくね、SMU ってこの後でお話しする残り2つについても期間がとてもいいですよね。1年だとちょっとね、短い、初めての海外だし、あっという間に終わっちゃうので、で、2年だと、ちょっと長いかなっていう場合で、18ヶ月ってとってもいい期間だったりします。で、ファイナンスとかマーケティング、オペレーション、サステナビリティっていう、その中での専攻も選べるので、もうがっつりファイナンスやりたいという方は専攻ファイナンスにすると、レジュメにも自分はファイナンス専攻ですよっていうことで、もう金融を自分をやりたいっていう、ね、アピールにもなるという感じですね。はい。で、あとは、本当にそのフィーチャーズにも書いてますけれども、やっぱり日本で大学に行っていても、まず一つは、ビジネス、社会に出て、特に外資系とか、グローバル企業が必要とする能力って本当にほぼ身についていない状態の方が多いと思うんですけど、ここに行くと、このフィーチャーにあるような、グローバルな視点もそうですし、もうこういったね、ゴリゴリのもうビジネスが学べるので、就職とかも圧倒的に、本当に雲泥の差になるので、大学生の方は、これもぜひ、編入の方もね、もちろんいいんですけど、もう今4年生だよとか、あとは既卒で1年目、2年目の方は、これすっごくおすすめです。で、次にこの真ん中の MBA なんですけど、これは2年以上働いている人であればいけます。なので、結構幅広いですね。若手ですぐ MBA に行くっていう人もいますし、結構ね、ここに書いてある通り、シンガポールのこの SMU は1年ちょっとで終われるので、割とミドルキャリア30代の方とか40代の方も行かれてたりします。で、これもすごくちょうどよくって、ね、フルタイムでだいたい 10から15ヶ月なので、1年だとどうかなっていう人はもうちょっとね、15ヶ月間いることもできますし、なるべく早くもう学校は終わらせたいっていう人は10ヶ月でも終われると。で、かつ、これ一番いいのは、言ってる方もね、言ってましたけれども、この、真ん中の、このオーバーシーズイマージョンプログラムと書いてあるところで、これ自分が好きなのを選べるんですけど、やっぱり現地で就職したい方なんかは、特にこの10ウィークインターンシップですね。もう2ヶ月半ぐらい、がっつり現地でフルタイムのインターンシップができるので、それがもう授業の一環に組み込まれているということですね。はい、でさっき言ったように金融街も近いので、金融とかテックの方に行く方もいますけれども、金融テック、あともう事業会社でこういうことを自分やりたいという人もいますので、これはね、インターンシップが入っているプログラムってあんまりないんですけれども、この SMU の特徴の一つでもありますね。はい。で、あとは、ここのね、しかもフィーチャーズのところに書いてますけれども、データサイエンスとか、あと、リーディングデジタルトランスフォーメーションとか、データアナリティクスとかが選択科目でやっぱり入ってきてるので、アジアのプログラムの方がね、実は結構こうでデジタル系のキャッチアップってすごく早くって、これも取れるのもいいかなと思います。あとは EMBA ですね。これもね、なんかすごい、EMBA ってですね、結構パートタイムなので、2年とか2年半とかかかる学校が多いんですが、1年で終われるというね、とてもいいんじゃないかなと思います。ちょっと EMBA のご質問があったので、そちらも行きたいと思います。EMBA のお先行っちゃいますかね。はい。So thank you. We have a question about the executive MBA program.
Okay.
So please let's us explain more about executive MBA format. So how often and for how long do students go to Singapore?
Okay, I will show the EMBA calendar. So there are 5 segments in Singapore. So you will come to Singapore 5 times in August, September, November, January, as well as the last segment here in August next year. Assessments are based on class participation, group presentations, group projects, and small assessments here and there. There might be some written and there might be no written exams depending on the faculty who is teaching the class. So on top of 5 Singapore segments, there will be 3 overseas segments over here: Europe, USA, and China.
Thank you. So students can also go to US or China in addition to Singapore section.
So they have to go for all segments, all 8 segments.
Okay.
So you cannot choose whether you want to go for either one, but you will have to go for all 8. So your first segment will be in Singapore. First 4 segments will be in Singapore. And then everybody goes to Europe, everybody goes to USA, everybody goes to China, and then we see you again in Singapore for the last segment.
Okay, I got it. これとってもいいんじゃないでしょうかね。このエグゼクティブ MBA は日本でもというか、アルファでも最近ね、とっても需要が高くって、ミドルキャリアの方ね、もうなんかリストラがね、続いていたりとか、ちょっと暗くなるニュースもあるんですけど、むしろ自分はキャリアアップの機会と捉えて、EMBA だと会社にいながら通えて、かつこれ1年で終われますし、1週間だけこの開けていくっていうのはよくある EMBA のスタイルなんですけど、しかもその間にこのイタリアとヨーロッパですね。あとは NYU もね、これもうニューヨーク大学、やっぱトップスクールですし、もうニューヨークのこれ本当にど真ん中にあるので、そこにも1週間行けて、しかもこの AI とフィンテックが学べるっていうね、ニューヨークのセクションは最高なんじゃないかなと思いますけれども、あとは中国にも行けるので、やっぱり中国はね、マーケットも大きいので、そういう経験ができるのもすごくいいんじゃないかなと思いますね。はい。では。Thank you. So we will move on to the next questions from audience. 日本語で読みますね。MIM に進学される方はどのようなところに住んでいるのでしょうか？寮はありますか？ということで。So we want to know the student housing system for MBA, for MBA も聞いとこうか。for MIM and MBA student. Do they can they live in their dorm or some housing support?
So as I shared earlier, SMU is a city campus, and unfortunately, we do not have housing on campus itself because we are located very near the CBD. So we do direct our students to looking on property websites, to renting apartments, whether it is alone on their own. Apartments on their own, or they can rent apartments with their fellow classmates as well.
Thank you. 寮はないということなんですけれども、先ほど申し上げたように、すごく都心部にあるので、皆さんそのまま通学されたりとか、あとアパートメントのいわゆる賃貸を借りて、そういうところのサポートって家探しとかそういうところはサポートしてくれるので、私たちが行った時もね、もう本当に東京みたいな感じで電車も通っているので、皆さんそれで通学されている方がいるというふうにおっしゃってましたね。はい。で、もう一つですね。The next question. MBA、EMBA に進学される方はどのような業界から進学されていらっしゃるのでしょうか？データがあれば合わせて教えてくださいということで。So the next question is about a student profile. We want to know about a student profile for MBA and executive MBA regarding their industry and some working experience years.
Okay. I think you're talking about the class profile. What students usually have in the MBA and EMBA? Okay. For the MBA, we have about 60% of our students are international students. Average working experience, we see about 5 to 7 years of working experience. Many of them are either middle management or junior managers looking to move up. In terms of age, we see an average of about 31 years old. But then again, age we usually say is just a number because you might be very technical in a particular role, but you have worked many years. So let's say you have worked 8 years in HR, but you're looking to move into management. That still means that the MBA would be suitable for you because, again, you're looking to go into management. For the executive MBA, we see students with over 10 years of working experience, but the average working experience is actually 17 to 18 years, because usually by 17 or 18 years, sometimes they have already been promoted to senior management, C-1, C-2 roles. In terms of number of foreign students or international students, we see about 66% of them coming from Singapore. So foreigners take about maybe 30 to 40% of the class cohort. In terms of age, it truly depends. Sometimes we have quite senior members, quite senior students coming in, because at every point of a senior executive's career, they decide to come and take the EMBA at different times. So sometimes we have students with 10 years of working experience. Usually those with 10 years and are already CEOs or C-1, -2, they could be entrepreneurs running their own business, and they're looking to further their knowledge on how to lead their entire company from a strategic perspective. On the other hand, we do have some other professionals who have worked maybe 20 years, 25 years. Some of them come from the healthcare industry, for example. They have slowly made their way up to the top, and at that time, they finally have some time to step away from work and attend some classes to further improve themselves. While I'm at it, I would also like to share about the MIM class profile too. The MIM class profile average working experience 0 to 2 years. So we see many fresh graduates as well as some who have very little working experience. So average, I would say maybe about 1 year of working experience. In terms of international students, we see many international students in the MIM. About 90% of our students in the MIM cohort are international students. And in terms of age, they're fresh graduates, so about 25 to 26 years old.
Thank you. なのでね、インダストリーも様々って言ってましたけど、年齢のところも言っていただきましたけれども、大体書いてある通り、で、MIM はやっぱり若手の方とか新卒の方。で、MIM は5年から7年ぐらいがね、アベレージって言ってましたけれども、日本人はもうちょっと年齢がいってる10年ぐらいの方もね、全然いってるかなと思いますね。で、MBA も、これもよく質問があるんですけど、基本的には10年以上くらいからで、もう例えば、なんか30代ぐらいでね、もう30歳くらいだとちょっとまだ早くって、むしろ20年とか25年ぐらいもう C レベルでなんかやってますみたいな方もいるということなので、はい。スタイルも、EMBA は時々通うというタイプなので、自分はどれがいいかなっていうところはぜひご相談いただければと思います。はい。で、あとはシンガポールの就職のご質問ですね。MBA の後、シンガポールで就職は可能でしょうか？インターナショナルな人たちはどんなところに就職されていますかというところですね。So the next question is career after graduation, especially getting job in Singapore. Is it possible for MBA graduate to find employment in Singapore? And one more question is what is a major industry for international students outside Singapore?
I would say that, let me answer the industry question first. Because all these 3 masters are general management programs, so many students come in from different industries. They could have business background or no business background, and then they might decide to move into a different career, or they make use of the MBA, for example, for a career switch from maybe someone who is functional in maybe a marketing role, moving into consulting, for example. So we have one of our alumni who came into the MBA as a photographer, and then now she is an ESG sustainability consultant. So in terms of switching careers, switching industries, that is also one thing that is possible through a general management program like the MBA. To answer your first question about what's the chances of getting employed in Singapore? Right now, the employment pass criteria has become slightly stricter, but we do still find that our students are graduating and finding jobs within 6 months. And out of these students who find jobs within 6 months, about 70% of them are working in Singapore. I don't have particular statistics for Japanese who manage to find work in Singapore, but there is quite a big percentage of them who manage to find a role in Singapore itself. So it depends on what kind of role you're looking for. Is it a role that is needed by the Singaporean market, or is it something that maybe the Singaporean market cannot help you with? So just to give you an example, Singapore is a city center, right? We are very urban. So if you're looking for a role to grow in agriculture, Singapore might not be a place for you.
Thank you. まずインダストリーのね、業界の方からお話しいただきましたけれども、MBA とかそのジェネラルマネジメントなので、テックだけとかそういったものよりは、本当にキャリアスイッチに使っていろいろな業界に行く方がいるとおっしゃってましたね。大体アルファで見てても本当にいろんな業界に行きますけど、MBA なので、やはりコンサルに行く方も一定数いますし、あとは事業会社のマネジメントとか、さっきもね、いくつかケーススタディの企業さん出てましたけども、シンガポールにヘッドクォーターがある企業に入ったりとか、結構現地就職、あと現地で入る方は、ファイナンシャルインダストリーですね、ヘッジファンドとかに入っている方もいますね。はい。あとは、そうですね、ちょっとビザのところ、あとシンガポールの現地就職についても、少し以前よりはビザがね、厳しくなってるっておっしゃってましたけども、シンガポールで就職する方もいますし、それこそ今ね、アドミッションの方もおっしゃってましたけども、日本人が就職しやすいお仕事もあるので、それでそういった業界にまず入って、ビザ取ってっていう方は多いかなと思います。はい。次のビザの話は今していただいたので、ご質問は以上ですかね。はい。では、これで終わりにしようかなと思います。That's all for the questions from audience. So at the end of this webinar, thank you very much for the great presentation. Could you give us some closing comments to future students?
Sure. So today I shared with you about the 3 management programs that we have, the MIM, the MBA, as well as the EMBA. So the Lee Kong Chen School of Business has other programs as well. So if you feel that your profile, you feel that you might not be able to fit into either of the 3 programs, or if you're stuck somewhere in between, whether you're finance or you're interested in entrepreneurship, wealth management, or are you interested in going into management itself, general business management, and you're not sure, feel free to drop me an email or drop any of our inboxes here an email, and we will do a free application assessment for you. Last but not least, before we go, I think studying a master's degree is a big step in anybody's life, whether you are a fresh graduate or you are a senior manager. And it's a big amount of money, right? It's not a very cheap master's degree. It's not a cheap program, and it requires some investment. So I would strongly recommend students who are interested or candidates who are interested to share with us your profile so that we can allocate you or direct you to a suitable master's program, and you make full use of your time, you make full use of your money, and you make sure that you study something that will actually value add into your future.
Thank you. そう、なので皆さん、ぜひですね、アドミッションの方にアルファからご紹介もできますし、さっきのようにアルファからこういう人ですよっていう形でね、イントロダクションをさせていただいて、合格確率が、行きたいという方はね、そういう形で、アルファからも個別調整の方はしっかりレジュメとかを作ってご紹介していますし、今日もお話しいただきましたけれども、QS にもアドミッションの方来られるので、他の学校も来ますし、いろいろたいとか、あとアルファのスタッフとかも行って、その後に入住さんとね、こういうキャリアのスカイプ相談もできたりしますので、ぜひ興味がある方は、これコメント欄に置いてあるリンク、後で置いておきますので、そちらからご登録していただいて参加いただければと思います。で、ご相談は無料相談入れていただければ、学校選びとか、SMU 受けたいっていう感じでね、SMU のアプリケーションも やはり他の MBA と同様、ちゃんとエッセイもレジュメも、あとインタビューも、で、テスト対策もあるんですけど、テストは結構ね、後からでもいけたりしますし、それもアルファがこうね、うまくご紹介して、テストは後から出して受かっている方もいるので、あまり英語とかはね、できないよっていう方も、ぜひお早めにご相談いただければと思います。はい、ということで、今日はこちらで終わりたいと思います。So, thank you for your time today, Chris and Ines.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you. では、皆さんもご視聴ありがとうございました。それでは、失礼いたします。